Can I 100% portal and then ask for my money back? If you haven't heard, Steam has a policy where you can get a refund for any game you play for less than 2 hours. But if I were to beat all 15 achievements in Portal within that time, would that rule still apply? Well, there was only one way to find out. And the game began with a minute of waiting. Okay, now it's go time. And immediately, I began jumping forward in order to save a bit of time, as jumping is slightly faster than just walking, for some reason. Then I waited for the cube to drop from above, placed it onto the button, and entered the elevator headed to the first chamber in the game. Our first goal of the run is to complete all 19 chambers, defeat GLaDOS, and unlock the first 3 achievements in the run. So, right as the elevator opened, I jumped off the ledge to begin the first level. In this chamber, the orange portal cycles through a couple different rooms. So I waited for the portal to send me to the cube room, picked it up, placed it onto the button, and then headed out through the door to chamber 2. For this chamber, I ran to the door to trigger GLaDOS' dialogue a little bit earlier. Then, once she finally shut the f up, I went through the door, entered the blue portal, and then finally grabbed the portal gun for the first achievement in the game. With that, I shot a blue portal on the wall and walked through into the elevator to chamber 3. And if you thought chambers 1 and 2 were easy, you'll just see. To pass this level, I simply shot a blue portal up against this wall, and by peeking through that portal, I could shoot another one on the other side of the room near the elevator. Chamber 4, though, is when things get kinda spicy. Right as we enter chamber 4, we shoot a blue portal up against this wall, walk through the orange portal, and then shoot a blue portal right here. And by standing right in front of my blue portal, I then performed what's called a save load glitch. By saving and immediately loading our save right after, the game puts us in a state where our player camera and position are different. This basically just allows us to shoot portals from the other side of the map and walk through walls. Yeah, normally we'd fall through the floor right here, but by shooting a blue portal under the middle tile, we can then walk and jump to the elevator safely. Chamber 5 is up next, and with our save load glitch still active, we can simply shoot a blue portal here and then just walk through the main door and complete the whole level in like 10 seconds. Anyway, now we're at chamber 6. First, we need to shoot a blue portal up here and then avoid this flying orb, which can kill the player. Finally, once it was out of the way, I jumped to enter the orange portal, which gets me all the way up the platform in front of the elevator. And for chamber 7, it was basically just a harder version of chamber 6. We shoot another blue portal on the edge of the ceiling, and now we need to jump into our orange portal while crouched, and then immediately shoot a blue portal right afterwards onto the far wall to shoot us all the way over to the ledge. This took me about a minute to land, but then I finally landed it and made my way to chamber 8 out of 19. Chamber 8 is pretty difficult. Our goal here is to use the blue portals to make our way to the top left corner of the map, where we need to perform a really precise bunny hop past this thin ledge to then turn to the side midair and land on the railing near the elevator. I hate this jump just so much, but during this run, I actually landed it first try. Chamber 9 was also surprisingly easy. I entered the room, stood on the button, and then by shooting a blue portal right on the edge of the center tile, I could now jump on each side of the portal to make it past the door without having to keep it open. Chamber 10 is a big movement level. We first walk past the hallway and wait for an orange portal to open above us. From here, I walked forward, crouched, and shot a blue portal at my feet to gain some momentum. I then shot another one right below me to fall into it and boost past the ledge. Lastly, we wait right here for the top of this wall to move forward, shoot a blue on the top, carefully crouch through the orange portal just to fall right back into it, and then by holding crouch S and spamming jump, I then used a glitch called an AFH to trick the game into thinking I was moving backwards, allowing me to gain an infinite amount of speed forwards just to save some time going into the elevator. Chamber 11, though, is the hardest one so far. Up until now, I've only had the blue portal, but by shooting a blue portal on the ground below the stairs and jumping through, I landed on the platform to finally grab the new portal gun. I then shot an orange portal on the bottom right side of this wall to jump and make it back to where I was before. From here, I shot a blue portal on the left side of this panel, lined myself up behind the blue portal, and then activated another save load glitch like I did earlier. Now I could walk through the glass and end up near my orange portal. Don't ask, I don't know either. Then by shooting another orange portal, I could teleport to where I shot inside of the orb turret. Then I lined up a blue portal to teleport back to where we just were, an orange portal right afterwards, and after walking over here and standing on the edge, we can finally shoot one more orange portal and then teleport into the 12th chamber. Yeah. The rest of chamber 12 was pretty easy. I fell into some portals to fling my way to the top of the room, got the cube from up above, and placed it onto the button to open the door, meaning now I was done with both chamber 11 and 12. Chamber 13 is where the puzzles start to get pretty complex. Here I shot 2 portals near the button and the cube to grab it through the portal and then place it to open the door. Then by shooting another orange portal just past the door, I fell through the portal with the cube and placed it on the button below. Now I just had to jump onto the button below that one to open up the final door, shoot a portal into that room, and then jump into the elevator. Thankfully, this chamber is way easier. I could have done a couple strats here, but I chose to shoot a blue portal on the ground, an orange one on the ceiling, fell through, and then shot my orange portal on the ground to boost myself up to the ledge, right in front of the chamber 15 elevator, which is one of the hardest in the game. First, we shoot a portal on the left wall and peek through to shoot the orange portal facing the glass wall to the left. We need to somehow get over this wall, so by falling down and shooting a blue portal at our feet, this will get us all the way over the wall with no issues. Here I shot a blue portal on the bottom left of the right wall and then an orange portal right above this camera, because now I was gonna do another save load glitch. In this case, I shot a couple orange portals to teleport myself near a second glass wall, and then I precisely shot 2 more orange portals to skip past the glass wall without having to jump over it. From here, I shot a blue portal into the hallway and peeked through my orange one to shoot a portal into the final puzzle room. But it's not like I have the time to solve a puzzle here, so I fell into my portal to launch myself to the ledge and was then headed to chamber 16. This is the level with a lot of turrets, which could have lost me a lot of time, but thankfully I had a plan in mind. Normally I have to wait for GLaDOS to shut the up before the door opens, but by lining up my blue portal with the ceiling and then shooting an orange portal inside of it, I was able to skip the gate sequence entirely, which is a strat called a portal bump. From here, I set up a save load glitch in the second room by shooting some portals on the edge of these panels, and by shooting a series of orange portals in this exact pattern, I was able to exit my portal right next to the elevator room and portal through to the exit without having to deal with any turrets. Now came chamber 17, and unfortunately there weren't too many tricks that I could use here. To save a little bit of time though, I performed a strat called an ABH. This is basically the opposite of the AFH we used earlier, where by tricking the game into thinking we're moving forward, we can then gain an infinite backwards momentum, which helps us activate GLaDOS's dialogue a little bit earlier. From there, we're dropped a cube, which we can use to climb these tall stairs. And now I had to escort the cube past 2 orbs, so to not die, I used the cube to block the orbs from one-shotting me. With that, I used a portal bump to access the final room early, and then by placing a cube onto this button and opening the incinerator, I burned the cube alive to get the second achievement in the speedrun, Fratricide, and then opened the elevator to the 18th chamber. For chamber 18, I basically just used one big save load glitch. To set it up, I shot a blue portal on the bottom right and an orange portal on the top left. Then by save loading, I began navigating the map sideways, made my way to this door which leads into the final area, and by performing a couple more precise portal shots through walls, I finally set up my orange portal to spawn right in front of the elevator. Then, by entering my blue portal, I just walked straight to the elevator, leading into the 19th and final chamber in the game. Right away, I shot a blue portal right above the sign of the chamber, walked forward, and then crouched on top of the sign. I did this to set up my blue and orange portals to stand diagonally within them, and then, by crouching, shooting my blue portal, jumping at the exact same time, and then uncrouching immediately afterwards, this somehow just skips the entire 19th chamber. I love this game. From here though, I had to traverse my way through the outside of the 19th chamber. There's nothing too interesting to this portion of the speedrun, so I'll just skip to where I got to the science lab, where I performed another portal bump to glitch inside. Then, after entering this white room, I used an edge portal glitch to aim my portal where I normally wouldn't be able to shoot. And after walking through, this portal actually takes us to the other side of the wall in chamber 9. Then, after falling down the elevator shaft, I continued through this section of the game using a couple portal peeks here and there to save some time. That is, until I made it to the turret section. First, I shot a portal behind one of the turrets to land on top of the pipe. Then we enter the vent into this side area and use the slanted platform to portal jump onto the next ledge. Then, by shooting my orange portal in front of the glass, jumping into the wall and shooting blue right afterwards, this also just glitches me past the glass wall into the lab. Feel free to tell me how this glitch actually works in the comments, because I don't really understand it. Anyway, here I portaled my way to the room with the glass wall, then grabbed a chair from the lab, did that. And then I had to use the same chair to make it into the vent. I do this by spamming the grab and jump key, which I have bound to scroll wheel at the same time. From there, I shot a portal past the fan, entered from outside the vent, and then prepared for the final boss fight. After making it to the other side of the sewer, I shot a portal outside of the cage into the turret room, shot another blue portal on top of the brown tile, jumped, and then immediately shot an orange portal at my feet. Then, once again, I shot another blue portal above and one more orange to land on the platform above. I then used this exact same idea to launch myself up to the bridge above from the rest of the turrets. And then it was time to beat GLaDOS. Before that though, I shot an orange portal in the middle of this caution symbol on the ground. And right before entering the boss room, I shot a blue portal. And by walking in front of it, this caused the turret in front of my orange portal to shoot at me, which also hits GLaDOS, sending out all of her cores before I even entered the boss room. From there, I grabbed every core off of the wall using my portals, shot a blue portal to the right, an orange one to the left, walked through, and then performed one last edge glitch to shoot an orange portal under the map right next to the incinerator. In order to kill GLaDOS, we need to incinerate all of the cores, but with this setup, I simply shot a blue portal under all of the cores, teleporting them right under the incinerator. There were a couple cores that I missed, so I simply teleported down there myself, dragged them in, and beat the game in just over 20 minutes, unlocking the third Heartbreaker achievement out of 15 total achievements in the game. But now, it was time for the challenges run. After beating the game, the bonus map section of the menu is now unlocked. And under the challenges category, chambers 3 to 18 now have 3 challenges you must complete with a gold rating. These are beating each of these maps in the least amount of portals, least amount of steps, and in the least amount of time possible. And by the end, this should get us 4 different achievements. So I started with chamber 13 in the least amount of portals. First, I performed the same strat from earlier to get the cube onto the button. From there though, I shot an orange portal onto the wall instead of the ceiling, fell into my blue portal, and then I had to throw the cube until it landed right on top of the button below. I screwed it up a couple times, but once I finally got it, the door opened, allowing me to shoot a blue portal into the elevator room, and jump straight into my orange portal from before to complete the level in just 4 portals. Then came the least amount of steps for chamber 13, the hardest challenge in the entire game. Somehow, I had to manage to beat the level in just 10 steps. So first, I shot a blue portal in front of the button, and then took 2 steps to jump into my orange portal. Then, as I was shifting between both portals, I turned around and fell on top of the edge of my blue portal so that it didn't actually count as a step. I grabbed the cube using some portals, placed it onto the button, shot onto the ceiling into the second room, and then fell onto the button with the cube for another 2 steps. From here, I threw the cube onto the ground and then shot a portal above the second button to get the cube onto it without taking another step. But with the door now open, I shot a blue portal onto the floor of the side room, and then took 2 steps to fall into an orange portal I placed on the ground. Now I had to alternate between both portals, and while midair, I had to shoot my orange portal closer and closer to the edge of the elevator, until finally, I landed on the edge of my orange portal and took 4 steps inside to complete the last steps challenge. The final challenge here was least time, and since I had already speedran the game, I just used the same strategy as before to complete the level in 14 seconds. And now it was time for chamber 14. For least portals, I shot my blue portal on the ground in front of the upper ledge, which launched me with enough height to reach the elevator in just 2 portals. Now for least steps, I shot my blue portal in the same place, and fell into an orange portal that I had placed near the start. Then, while shifting between both portals, I shot an orange portal onto the ceiling, and then quickly shot another one after falling through just to launch myself up to the top of the ledge. Then, least time I completed in 8 seconds using the same strat that I typically use. And now it was time for chamber 15. The least portals challenge for this chamber was pretty tough. I shot my blue portal onto the top of the wall, and then shot my orange portal onto the ground to fling past the glass wall. Then I activated my save load glitch from before, which got me past the second wall within just 8 portals total. From here, I used my portal peaks to shoot the blue portal on the bottom of the right wall in order to shoot another portal onto the ceiling of the final room. Then, by falling through my orange portal and shooting orange in front of the ledge, I boosted myself up, completing chamber 15 in only 13 portals. Surprisingly, the least steps challenge for chamber 15 is actually pretty easy. I used my basic route to make it past the first glass wall. From here, I shot an orange portal up against the top panel, and then portal peeked through to shoot my blue portal through this tiny glass slit in the wall. From here, I portal bumped, portal peeked to shoot my orange portal right in front of the second glass, jumped in, and then placed a blue portal on the ground to fling myself over the wall. With that, I could continue through the level using my classic classic ending strat, and after landing it, I made it to the elevator in 52 steps. Once again, for least time, I used my save load glitch to speed past the second wall, and completed all of chamber 15 in just 55 seconds. Now, it was chamber 16, and for least portals, I waited for the gate to open, grabbed this turret, and then used it to block and knock down the turret in front, which also unlocked the achievement Friendly Fire. I did the same for the turret around the corner, the one past the glass wall, and then grabbed the cube right next to me to knock down all of the remaining turrets in the area. With all of them gone, I stood on the button and shot a portal into the dark patch of the wall in order to clear the 16th chamber with only 2 portals. And now, with least portals done, all of the rest of the challenge levels are really easy. For both least steps and least time, I just used my save load glitch to exit the chamber in only 29 steps and 18 seconds respectively. Then for chamber 17 and 18, I literally just used all of the same speedrunning strats for every remaining challenge. And by the end, I had unlocked bronze, silver, and gold medals for all of the challenges in Portal, unlocking another 4 achievements in the process. So now, with 7 out of 15 complete, it was time for the hardest 2 achievements in the game. After completing the base game, there are now 26 radios we need to activate and 33 cameras we need to detach from the wall. And to make things even better, everything we need is scattered all across the game. The first radio spawns inside of the waiting chamber, so to activate it, I brought it to where the signal was most active, which was next to the button. Then I completed the puzzle and headed to chamber 1. Here, I ran forward and had to jump to the camera to my left and grab the radio from the top. So I completed the chamber 1 puzzle, brought the radio through the door to activate it, and then made my way to chamber 2. Once I got the portal gun, I returned through my orange portal and began shooting all 3 cameras around the chamber, the first being in mid, and then the other 2 were in spawn. Then, after returning back to my orange portal, I shot a blue portal on the wall behind the radio, headed back through my portal to grab it mid-air, and then placed it in the center of the room to activate it. Chamber 3 also had 3 cameras and 1 radio, so I shot the first camera coming in, and then detached the other camera and grabbed the radio. With the radio, I re-entered the orange portal, shot the camera on that same wall, and then activated the radio by throwing it into a portal I shot on the other side. And with that, I was already onto chamber 4, this time with 1 radio and only 2 cameras. The first and second cameras I shot just walking in. Then I had to open the door, but without the save load glitch from before, I had to use the legit way. Here, I grabbed both the cube and the radio from the pit by using a portal, placed the cube onto the button, and then activated the radio in spawn to head over to chamber 5. This chamber now has 3 cameras. The first 2 I deactivated right away, and right after, I used my portal to get the cube outside of the pit and into my hands. Since I couldn't just walk through the door like last time, I instead used the cube to trigger a button glitch, where by save loading the game, it forces the button to stay down even without anyone on it. And then I put the cube onto the other button to open the door and portal the radio into the room. With that, I activated the radio by throwing it into the pit, portaled past the door, and finally shot the last camera while exiting the chamber. Chamber 6 is when things finally start to calm down a bit. Here, there's only 1 radio to grab, which is above the orb turret on the ceiling. So I simply shot a portal up there, grabbed it, and then threw it below the platform to activate it. Once again, in chamber 7, there's only 1 radio which is behind the stairs. So I grabbed it through a portal, activated it near the end of the chamber, and then used 1 last fling shot strat to head on over to chamber 8. This is the annoying jump level, but before that, I had to get the radio. So I grabbed it by shooting a portal on the wall opposite of the orange portal. Then I headed back into spawn to activate the radio, set up the jump, landed it on like my 3rd try, I think, and then headed into chamber 9. In order to get the radio for this chamber, I had to use a cube to knock it down from the ledge. Then, just like before, I simply shot a portal into the doorway, and since the portal also connects to the end of the level, the radio was activated right away just by sending it through the portal. In chamber 10 though, we finally have another camera to shoot right outside of the entrance. Then, after making our way into the 3rd room of the chamber, the 1 radio is located on the left wall. So I shot a blue portal on the rightmost panel and then jumped through to grab it off the ledge midair. Then I activated it in the pit and then used the classic falling AFH strat to make it to the elevator up to chamber 11. Last time I used a save load glitch here to skip this chamber entirely, but since there's a radio on this level, I have to play it all the way through. Immediately, I had to shoot a camera on top of the stairs. Then I entered my blue portal right before the orange portal had changed locations. And once the portal was in my area, I made the jump, grabbed the portal gun, and now had to get the radio. So I clicked the button in front of me to open the door, shot my blue portal inside, jumped through my orange one, and then grabbed the radio just before it closed on me. But now I still had to activate it. So I portal peeked through my blue portal to shoot an orange orange portal above the middle platform, and then threw the radio near that platform to activate it, successfully completing Chamber 11. Thankfully, Chamber 12 was much easier. I headed to the top just as intended, grabbed a cube, and instead of jumping down right away, I threw it to the button early to fall behind one of the panels, and then grabbed the radio, which was on top of one of the tubes. Then I threw the radio down, activated it behind the button, placed the cube onto the button to open the door, and with half of New Game Plus completed and half of my time left, I took the elevator up to Chamber 13. In this chamber, we have to shoot the camera above the entrance, bring the cube over to the button, and instead of bringing it into the other room, we use it to keep the door open and portal there ourselves. We do this to shoot 2 more portals and grab the radio on the other side of the room, so then we can head back into the starting area and activate it up against this wall. From here, we bring the cube to the button just as we would have before, shoot the second camera off the wall, and then head past the door into the next room, shoot one last camera, and head into Chamber 14. In Chamber 14, there are no cameras, but there is one radio. So I headed to the left side and then used a taller jump to gain enough speed to reach the ledge and grab the cube. From there, I brought the cube to the button by using a couple of portals, and after placing it down, this opened up the right side of the chamber. So by falling into my portal right next to the button, I grabbed the radio from the ledge on the wall, headed to the right side, and activated it by throwing it onto the platform ahead. And after using one last launch up to the elevator, I was finally on my way to Chamber 15, the hardest chamber yet. Right away, I shot the camera to the right of the entrance. Then I made my way in front of the glass wall, shot a portal behind the ceiling panel to grab the first radio, and quickly activated it in front of the spawn door. From there, I made my way past the glass wall, shot the 2 remaining cameras in the section, and then used the glass slit strat to make it all the way to the second glass wall. Here I shot another camera in the room to the side, flung myself past the glass, portal peeked through the hallway, and finally made it into the last room. Now, since there's still another camera and radio, I couldn't just complete the chamber like normal. So instead, I had to portal up to the button on the right side, and then portal to and activate the second button on the left side to open both gates in the glass container. Immediately, I fell into my portal to fling myself into the container and grab the radio, and then quickly James Bonded out of the container and threw it into the elevator to activate the radio right before the gates closed in on me. And with that, I shot the 5th remaining camera and flung myself up to Chamber 16. This chamber also has another 5 cameras, so I portal bumped into the second room to shoot the first one, then broke the turret and shot the second camera in the room to the left. I then portaled behind this turret to shoot the 3rd camera past that one, and then grabbed the companion cube to clear out all of the other turrets in the immediate area. With that, I could finally go grab the radio in the glass room, and then went to activate it back where I got my cube. Then I destroyed a couple more turrets with the cube, shot the 4th camera down, stood on the button to portal inside of the next room, shot one more camera down, and then finally exited Chamber 16. Similar to Chamber 15, there aren't a lot of glitches or tricks I can use to speed through Chamber 17, so I had to shoot my blue portal in front of the first orb to set up a trick for later into the chamber. Then I escorted the cube as per usual, used a couple orange portals to knock down the cameras, and then opened one of the doors in the next room by teleporting the orb from my blue portal. I then used the companion cube to reflect yet another orb to open the second door, and with that, I placed my cube onto the button in the next room, shot my orange portal to face the doorway, and then stood on the button to allow the orb to pass through. I know that does something in the level, but now that I'm delivering this script, I can't remember what it was. Anyway, here we grab the radio from below the 3rd platform and throw it up to the side of the ledge to grab later. Then we bring our companion cube to the glass wall, portal bump through to the other side, and now I could grab the radio from the other side and activate it right next to the incinerator. Then I finally incinerated the cube and arrived at the hardest chamber in New Game Plus. Chamber 18. I hate this one with a burning passion. First, I needed to portal over to the second platform where the first radio can be found in this side area. That's right, I said first, because in this area, there are 3 portals. To activate the first one, we simply need to shoot a portal up here and then throw the radio through, since apparently that's where it activates. Then we portal our way up to the door with our blue portal, and then use our orange portal to fling us to the button on the other side. We're not going to stand on this one yet though. Instead, we click this other button to open the gate leading into the second room, and then we do some crazy shit. Here, I have to shoot my orange portal above the center of the panel, knock the camera off the wall, grab it midair, and then quickly jump into the portal before the turrets kill me. Then I have to bring it in front of this door and tilt it slightly towards me. Trust me, this is going to be really important. In the meantime though, I flung myself back over the wall, did some James Bond shit, and then grabbed the second radio above the ground. I then shot a blue portal around the middle of the wall and portal portal peeked through to shoot another panel on the other side, where thankfully I could activate the second radio. Finally, I pressed the button to open the gate again, portaled to the other side, and then came the funny camera glitch. So, by standing on the large button to open the door and immediately letting go, this causes the camera to fall just slightly and hold the door open for us to portal through. It's a great strat, but I still hate this level. Once I portaled through though, I shot the last camera in front of the entrance, used a portal to grab the radio at the bottom of the pit, and then I moved that radio over to the first platform here in order to grab it and activate it later. And that's because the last portion of this level involves slowly shooting our way up to the top of the chamber. But once I finally got to the top, I shot a blue portal up here, jumped all the way down, and then sent the radio through my orange portal to activate it at the top of the chamber, finally completing chamber 18. At long last, it was finally time to beat New Game Plus. Immediately, I ran past the hallway in chamber 19 to shoot down the first camera. Then, by portal peeking through the first shot, I was able to shoot into this side room near the hallway, where I shot down the second camera, opened the gate with the button, and then shot my orange portal down the hall. With that down, I portal peeked through my blue portal to shoot down the 33rd and final camera in the run. I then continued portal peeking down until I was finally able to shoot a portal near the fire pit here. I then set up a portal jump from the top of the pit and launched myself all the way across the fire past chamber 19. And for some reason, doing this exact action also unlocks an achievement called Party Goer. Yeah, anyway, now I shot into the middle of the fire pit and used another portal to peek through and grab the first out of the 4 remaining radios. I then continued down the ending route in the game, radio in hand, until I finally got next to the lab, where here I was able to activate the radio by holding it up to the glass. Then I performed the portal bump from before, the edge glitch into chamber 19, and then continued down the route until I made it into the tube room. Instead of entering it right away, I headed right, portaled past the fence, and continued down the ending route with the radio until I got to this lower ceiling. Instead of using the portals to fling myself across, I first had to fall on top of the ceiling in order to activate the second radio. From here, I kept going further and further into the ending section, and eventually I made it all the way to the turrets. So I cleared all of them out, shot behind the last turret to fall onto the tube, and then shot my blue portal right next to the third radio. I then went into the vent as per usual, broke down the turret, and then portal peeked through my orange portal to shoot right next to the vent, where I could simply grab the radio through my portal and then go there to activate it. Now, all that was left was one more radio. I flung myself onto the bridge, portal bumped next to the lab in order to glitch into it, broke the glass wall, portaled past the vent, and then finally performed the classic falling strat in order to reach the bridge above all of the turrets. Finally, I shot one more portal into the right side of the sewer, entered through a portal beside the bridge, grabbed the radio just to the right of my portal, and dropped down the bridge to activate the final radio, completing the 10th achievement in the game. So now, it was time to complete all of the advanced chambers. In the advanced chamber section of the bonus maps, chambers 13 to 18 have been modified to be way harder, and we need to complete all of them in order to get 3 more achievements. I started out with advanced chamber 13, which is easily the most unique out of all of them. Right away, the starting section doesn't even have the cube from before, so instead I walked onto the button to open the door and portaled into the next room. I then powered the platform that actually did carry the cube by shooting 2 portals to teleport the orb to the charger. Then I shot 2 more portals to land on top of the platform, and from here I carefully jumped with the cube onto the ledge next to the door, dropped the cube onto one of the buttons, and then jumped onto the other one to open the last door and portal through to finish the chamber. Chamber 14, on the other hand, is significantly easier. All we need to do here is shoot 2 portals, jump through, and then immediately shoot another portal to launch up and reach the platform. I'm not gonna lie, this one took me a couple tries, but after a minute I landed it and was now onto chamber 15, which is much harder. Starting off, I had to pass the first glass wall a little bit differently by shooting 2 portals on the floor and ceiling here. Then I fell through and shot the panel facing the wall to send myself flying over the glass. From here, I shot my blue portal close to the ceiling, then my orange portal on the floor, and by falling into my orange portal over and over again, I completed the long jump achievement, where the player has to complete a 300-meter jump distance. Yeah, it's really dumb, and don't worry, because the last achievement of of the game is even dumber. But anyway, then I performed my save load glitch to portal past the second wall. With that, I could portal peek down the hallway, and finally, after getting into this room, you'll notice that there aren't any panels to perform the falling skip. So instead, I had to press each of the red buttons to open the gates in the container, and then direct the orb using some portals into that container to charge the final platform, where after rising up, I could finally enter the elevator and finish the chamber. And from there, advanced chambers 16 to 18 are actually really easy. 16 cages the turrets, making them completely indestructible, but I simply passed by all of them using my save load glitch. Chamber 17 was just the same level, but with a sphere instead of a cube, and chamber 18 changed so little that I was still able to do my save load glitch there too. And with that, I had completed every advanced chamber in the game for 14 out of the 15 achievements. So now it was time for the last one, and don't you worry, I saved the best for last. To complete this achievement, I loaded up the advanced version of chamber 14, shot one portal on the ceiling and one portal on the ground, and then fell into my portal for a while. This achievement, called Terminal Velocity, has the player fall 30,000 feet for 6 minutes straight. So with nothing better to do, I got up from my keyboard, got a water, and celebrated with a toast for my victory. And just like that, I had completed all 15 achievements in Portal, all within 93 minutes. However, once I quit the game, Steam apparently had another idea, because according to them, I had only completed 4 out of those 15 achievements. It's kind of complicated to explain, but to speedrun, I basically have to play on an older version of Portal, and while it is still playable through Steam, for whatever reason, my Steam cloud just really doesn't like tracking the achievements in this version. To be clear, I started with no achievements unlocked, and by the end, the game says that I got all of the achievements. After all, you literally saw me do all of them in this video, but because Steam didn't track them on their end, unfortunately, I had to find another solution before my refund. For this, I used a program called Steam Achievement Manager to check off all of the achievements that Steam missed. I do feel kinda sucky about doing it this way, but to test whether Steam would actually give me a refund for the achievements, they'd have to be able to see that I completed all of them. And so, with every achievement unlocked in under 2 hours, I asked Steam for a refund of Portal. And hey, don't worry, I was sure to let them know that I was terribly dissatisfied with the game's performance. And surprisingly, I had actually gotten my money back in the end. Seriously, thanks for watching to the end. This is the longest video I've ever made, and if you like Portal or just speedrunning in general, you'll probably really enjoy one of these other videos on screen. I really hope you enjoyed. My voice is totally dead, and have a good one.